Welcome to Half Haunted, where we journey through the tales of the unexplained, the haunted, and the legendary. Today we're traveling to the Southwest to explore haunted Arizona. From ghostly encounters with historical figures like Darrel Duppa, to the chilling lights of the Phoenix sky, and even vengeful cactus. Arizona is a state rich with supernatural lore, so sit back, dim the lights, and prepare for an unforgettable trip through Arizona haunted history. Raji, our lovely co-host, take it away.
Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year 2025. We are now going to start off with the life of Darrel Duppa. Oh, this is so awesome. This is so freaking awesome. Darrel was no ordinary man, though he made his home in the rugged Arizona territory. He displayed the knowledge and manners of a European aristocrat. Locals marveled at his grasp at art, history, and languages, and education far beyond the reach of most frontier settlers. His home was a wooden stagecoach station in New River. Really? Where he hearing travelers with hospitality. Oh, they doing some hospitality in New River, all right.
Mm-hmm. Hospitality.
Right. But it wasn't just his refined nature that intrigued those who crossed his path. Duppa's distinctive gold signet ring, engraved with the feathers of the Prince of Wales, an emblem unmistakably tied to the British royalty. Then there was his peculiar drinking habit. Duppa never failed to raise his glass and toast the Queen or the King. Was this simply eccentric behavior, or was he hinting at something deeper, a connection to the British crown? A royal mystery speculation swirled around Darrel Duppa even during his lifetime. Could he have been an illegitimate child of King Edward VII, exiled to avoid scandal? While there's no definitive proof, the pieces of the puzzle are tantalizing. His aristocratic knowledge and the presence of English gold suggest that he was no ordinary frontiersman. Even his name raises questions. Locals believe that Darrel Duppa might have been an alias. The word dupe implies deception. Was he hiding his true identity? I have never heard of this person before. Regardless of the truth, Duppa became a beloved figure in New River. His personality was a blend of charm, wit, and a hint of mystery, leaving those he met both entertained and curious. The ghost of Darrel Duppa's story doesn't end with his death. Visitors to New River report seeing a ghostly figure lingering at the site of his old stagecoach station. Do you have a picture of that?
I probably could get one when I put together the...
Just that
I never heard of him either.
I mean, I live up the road. Call him the Prince's Ghost, a nod to the enduring legend of his loyal ties. Witnesses describe an otherworldly presence that feels welcoming. The legacy of a legend, his ghost continues to keep the legend alive, drawing visitors to New River in search of answers, or perhaps just a chance to meet the benevolent apparition. Whether or not Duppa was truly of royal blood, his story reminds us that the frontier wasn't just a place of grit and survival. It was also a place where secrets thrive and where a person could reinvent themselves, leaving behind his life or a lineage they wanted to forget. First of all, we all know what's in New River.
Right.
Thunder Eggs geodes you can go search for, but I have never heard of this person before. That is very, very interesting.
So I was researching, like, I've never heard of this. So I'll let the public know about this guy. So if anybody's ever heard of it, just feel free to let us know if there's any more to this story. Sure. I'd like to know. Maybe that's where the word dupe comes from. I was duped out of this, or I was duped out of that.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah, I never knew that. We're on to another story. This one's interesting. And I actually saw this one.
Yeah, you were around. I wasn't there quite yet. I didn't quite make it to Phoenix yet. I was there 2 years after that.
99. You got here in 99?
March of 99.
Okay, these are Phoenix Lights. Let's start with one of the most famous UFO sightings in history, the Phoenix Lights of March 13, 1997. On this unforgettable evening, thousands of Arizona residents, including witnesses, described a massive V-shaped craft outlined by 5 glowing lights gliding silently across the sky. It was no ordinary aircraft. It moved too smoothly, too purposefully, and defied the conventional explanations. Explanations, what the shit is that? Governor Fox Simonton, former pilot, later admitted to seeing the craft himself, describing it as otherworldly in size and shape. However, at the time, he dismissed the event publicly to avoid widespread panic. What were those Phoenix lights? Some suggest experimental military technologies. Others firmly believe it was a close encounter with extraterrestrial intelligence. The truth? Well, it's still up there, hidden among the stars.
Whatever you need to, yeah.
So when I was out partying back then, because I did a lot.
I chose you for the second.
Yeah, we were right on the 10 going west because it was out. Was it the super? It wasn't. It was
Super System, wasn't it?
No, South
Estrella?
Mount Estrella. It was out
Estrella.
towards the area. And when you take the highway, freeway, interstate, is it the 85? Where is Lewis? What's the road the Lewis prison's
85.
on? Okay, when you
85.
take 85 going south into Gila Bend, you could take that to 8th California. Back there is a military base. So I wasn't driving out there to party. I was just in the city going west towards home. And I was in a car with someone who I think has now passed away. And I'm driving. I said, what the shit is that? And I mean, it lingered. You saw it. You saw it. And, you know, we're partying. Who knows what was going on. And we're thinking, whatever. I'm like, that was it. And all of a sudden, it was gone.
Like disappear?
Yes.
That's wild. I'd be like, what the?
Was 20-something, 30 years since this has happened. Years ago, it was the History Channel or whatever. You know, they have to do UFOs with that wild Greek dude. I mean, well, he's got the wild hair. I know you've seen him. I can't remember his name. But they said that the military finally owned up that it was them. But at the same time, Arizona is also good, especially up in Flagstaff and whatnot, for having UFO sightings. So it would have been really cool if that was what I actually saw, because it didn't float away. It was there, and then all of a sudden, it was gone. So it's crappy I was on the freeway, because I would have pulled off to take a breath, because I was not used to seeing anything like that before. It was amazing, though, I do have to say. More alien abductions. Now, this Travis Walton person is the one from the movie, right? Fire in the Sky?
Yeah, this guy's pretty famous. I just saw him on Expedition, whatever. There was a show I was watching.
Homeboy's
He's still alive, I believe. Yeah, I think he's still alive.
The Travis Walton case, while in Phoenix, while the sites were an event witnessed by many other UFO stories have deeply... The Travis Walton case. While the Phoenix Lights were an event witnessed by many, other UFO stories were deeply personal and deeply unsettling. Travis Walton, a logger from Snowflake, Arizona, which is 3 hours from me, who alleged abduction in 1975 became one of the most debated UFO cases of all time. Walton and his crew were driving through the forest when they spotted a glowing saucer-shaped craft hovering in the trees. Against his colleagues' protest, Walton stepped out of the truck and was struck by a beam of light that knocked him unconscious. His crew fled in terror, only to return and find him missing. Walton reappeared 5 days later, disoriented, with vivid memories of being examined by non-human entities aboard a spacecraft. Was this an elaborate hoax or a genuine extraterrestrial encounter? The lie detector tests passed by Walton and his crew add weight to his story, though skeptics argue the lack of physical evidence keeps his case firmly in the realm of speculation.
So on the show I just watched, I guess it had the same story, so where he disappeared for 5 days, and we were just trying to find him, and he was found in this wooded area or whatever, 5 days later, and he didn't have nothing on. It was bizarre, but he was found way far from where he was left. And he told the same story. He didn't it was the same story from when he disappeared all these years later. It's the same thing. It didn't even straight from the original story. All these years, everybody said the same thing. Nothing was added, nothing was subtracted. Strange. I don't know.
No UFOs need to bother me unless you give me some moon rocks, because the sister needs some money. Leave me
I don't
alone.
know. I don't
Just
believe
leave
in
me alone.
like the anal probing shit. Like people, oh, I was anal probe. Really, I don't think they're gonna come and anal probe you. But you never know. I don't. There's intelligent life out there, but whatever.
It
Anyway,
is
I digress. Continue.
right. Did you know that UFO sightings aren't just a modern phenomenon? They've been recorded throughout history, with descriptions eerily similar to today's accounts. Consider the book of Ezekiel in the Bible, which describes visions of wheels within wheels, glowing in the sky, accompanied by strange beings. Was this a divine encounter or an ancient interpretation of UFOs? Even in the 1800s, sailors aboard the clipper ship Godspeed reported seeing a glowing object hovering above their mast, an account that aligns closely with today's UFO reports. These historical parallels suggest that whatever these phenomena are, they've been with us for a long time. So what could these UFOs be? The theories are as varied as the sightings themselves. Believers propose extraterrestrial visitation, advanced alien technology, or even interdimensional beings. On the flip side, skeptics point to natural phenomena, military experiments, or psychological explanations like mass hysteria or misinterpretation. The lack of definitive physical evidence remains a sticking point for skeptics. Yet credible witnesses, pilots, military personnel, and even governors lend credibility to the argument that we may not be alone. And let's not forget the whispers of government. Government.
Catchy. Government.
That's the government. Government cover-ups from, from Roswell to alleged crash sites in Arizona, like the Arthur G. Stansel claimed to visit in 1953. What? Arizona's role in UFO lore is undeniable. The Gallup polls showing that 75% of Americans believe in extraterrestrial life reflect a collective curiosity about what lies beyond our world. Is Arizona's clear desert sky a portal to the unknown? Or is it simply a blank canvas onto which we project our fears and hopes? From the Phoenix Lights to ancient texts, from Travis Walton's abduction to glowing objects over 19th century ships, Arizona's UFO stories challenge us to expand our understanding of reality. What is your take? Are these sightings evidence of extraterrestrial life, advanced technology, or something even stranger?
What do you think? What's your take? I think there's something else out there. Like, there has to be. We're not the only people in the universe. Think about it.
But looking for,
but they're not anal probing you, though. Like,
no, I mean, are we in a globe that they're shaking around for their entertainment? I mean,
like
seriously,
bitches.
like there's millions of people on this earth. How come we haven't seen more of them? And why are they picking and choosing certain people? Are any of the people that they supposedly, snatched up off the ground, are they intelligent people? Like, have you ever heard of someone with a high IQ ever being taken? What is this chosen? It's interesting. But, you do look at the sky and it is amazing. And there's something out there. What are they waiting for? I mean, so they're not bothering me. It's just like looking at a meteor shower. It's like, oh, that's cool. But they're not coming to snatch my black ass up. So I have no idea.
Yeah.
Let's start with the fateful day in February 1982. David Grundman, armed with a shotgun, ventured into the Arizona desert near Lake Pleasant. His target, the iconic Saguaro cactus. You don't mess with them. Grundman fired several rounds into a massive, decades-old cactus, bringing it crashing down. But in a cruel twist of fate, the falling saguaro collapsed on him, crushing him under its weight. This wasn't just a freak accident. It was nature making a statement. Saguaros are no ordinary plants. These desert giants can grow up to 50 feet tall, weigh as much as 8 tons, and live for centuries. Destroying one is not only dangerous, but also an act of disregard for an ecosystem that depends on their presence. You don't mess with them, it's illegal. Ooh, nature's revenge or karmic justice? Was Grunman's death an unfortunate accident, or was it something more? Some believe it was a clear case of nature's revenge. The story took on mythic proportions when it was tied to a Papago shaman's vision. According to legend, a shaman had foretold that anyone who senselessly harmed Saguaro would meet a grim fate. His vision included symbols of death, owls, snakes, and scorpions, all spiritual messengers of nature's wrath. Could Grunman's demise have been an eerie fulfillment of his prophecy? To truly understand the gravity of the story, let's talk about the Saguaro cactus. These majestic plants are more than just desert scenery. They are essential to the ecosystem. Ecosystem, potato. Right? Saguaros provide food and shelter for countless desert creatures, from woodpeckers nesting in their arms to bats feeding on their fruit. Their deep roots stabilize the sandy soil, and their towering presence defies the southwestern landscape. We had one called Strong Arm, but it died of disease, last year or the year before? And I know we've had a couple of very dry, hell-hot summers, so a lot of the cacti that we've probably seen in postcards and so forth have all died because of the heat. Though they don't need a lot of water, they are dying. Native American tribes, particularly the Papago, hold saguaros in high regard, using their fruit to make food and ceremonial drinks. Destroying a saguaro isn't just thoughtless, it's illegal. Federal, state, and tribal laws protect these cacti, recognizing their ecological and cultural significance. Lessons from Native American philosophy. The Papago and other Native American tribes teach a philosophy of harmony with nature. They view the natural world as a living organism, interconnected and balanced. When that balance is disrupted through unnecessary destruction or exploitation, nature finds a way to restore itself. Legends tell of nature's agents of retribution, such as wolves, snakes, and even plants, acting as protectors of the land. Grunman's story fits this narrative perfectly. Could it be that the saguaro is a towering silence, defended itself in the only way it could? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to shoot me down, bitch? Yeah, you're dead.
I picked a barrel cactus. You know, the barrel cactus is like got the hook on it, the cute little short stubby ones. This is years ago when we used to live out off Carefree Highway and stuff. And I don't know why I was kicking it, because you're young and stupid. And though I didn't harm it, it said, leave me alone. And it poked me and harmed me. And that crap hurt. But I've never had cactus. Is it the jumping cactus?
Ugh.
You know, we're not even going there. But leave the cacti alone. Take care of them. Right. Appreciate them. If we don't have enough water, take the hose and water them down. They are beautiful. They really, and so is their skeletons that people make art out of. David Grunman's death is more than a bizarre accident. It's a cautionary tale. It reminds us of the need to respect the natural world, not just for its beauty, but for its raw power. The saguaro, resilient and imposing, stands as a symbol of the desert's might. Whether you interpret Grunman's demise as karmic justice, a lesson from nature, or simply tragic, one thing is clear: we must tread carefully in the environments we inhabit. Nature doesn't need us, but we desperately need them, and that's the truth.
That is the truth, 100%.
That is the truth.
100.
Yeah,
when I was growing up, my grandparents in Albuquerque, they had a cactus in the back. We would always be careful around the grass there because the cactus would fall and it would attack us, and we would have a cactus stuck to our ankle to pull it out, and we were like, we stay away from it.
Yeah.
I respect cactus at all costs. Stay away. So this next one, I've been here. It's the Lost Dutchman Mine is said to be a treasured trove of a gold Hidden deep within Arizona's rugged Superstition Mountains near Apache Junction, its name originates from Jacob, Wald? Often mispronounced as Walls, a German prospector who reportedly found the mine in the 19th century. The story roots, however, stretch back even further. In 1848, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo transferred much of the Southwest to the United States, and shortly after, the Gadsden Purchase expanded Arizona borders. During the period of upheaval, a young Mexican miner is said to have discovered a rich vein of gold. Tragically, he and his party were ambushed and killed, their secret buried with them. Years later, Jacob Wolf allegedly stumbled upon the mine, and his actions would forever mark the mine's history in blood. Walls was known to kill anyone who came too close to the treasure's location. Even in death, it is said that Walls and his victims guard the mine, ensuring that its secrets remain hidden. The history of the Lost Dutchman Mine is written in blood. Over a dozen prospectors and treasure hunters have reportedly lost their lives in pursuit. Some were mysteriously killed by accidents, others by violence, and few disappeared without a trace. But the real intrigue lies within the supernatural encounters reported by those who dare to search. Ghostly Apache warriors are said to haunt the area, protecting the sacred land. Jacob himself is often seen as a shadowy figure, ensuring that ghost spectral warnings to trespassers. Those who ignore the warnings speak of chilling encounters, such as unexplained cold, whispers in the wind, and even apparitions of miners. Treasure maps have often deepened in the mystery. Countless maps claiming to reveal the miners' locations have surfaced, but none have led to success. Some believe Walls deliberately left false clues to mislead seekers, ensuring that the mine's location would die with him. Despite or perhaps because of the danger, the Lost Dutchman Mine remains a cultural cornerstone. Apache Junction, located at the base of the Superstition Mountains, has become a hub for enthusiasts. The Superstition Mountain Museum displays artifacts, maps, and stories tied to the legend, and drawing visitors from around the world. The allure of the mine is universal, and it represents the human desire for adventure, wealth, and the unknown, but it also serves as a cautionary tale about greed and lengths that people will go for fortune. And then there's Jacob Wolf's legacy. Rumors suggest that he left behind cryptid clues, including a shoebox filled with gold nuggets, and these tantalizing hints have kept the legend alive, fueling speculation and continued searches. There's been many people that have tried, even recently, early 2000s, late 90s, there was people that, wasn't it on Fox News that there was people that had mysteriously died or whatnot, trying to find it or whatever. Anyway, one of the most chilling aspects of the Lost Dutchman Mine is its paranormal reputation. Some treasure hunters report spectral warnings, phantom voices urging them to leave, or ghostly figures blocking their path. Others describe encounters with violent apparitions, including miners with axes lodged in their backs, or Apache warriors armed with ghostly weapons. One prospector claimed to find a cave filled with gold, only to be chased out by a shadowy figure. Yeah. When he returned with help, the cave entrance had vanished. That's weird. There's also the legend of the cursed maps. The stories tell of maps leading treasure hunters into danger, snakes, sudden rock slides, treacherous terrain. These could be coincidences, or are these mines guardians ensuring that their secrets are safe? Why does the Dutchman Mine continue to captivate us? Perhaps it's a promise of wealth beyond imagination. It's the thrill of solving a puzzle that has eluded the discovery, of generations. Or maybe it's the warning of inherent hell, a reminder of cost, of greed, and obsession. Whatever the reason, the legend persists, inspiring books, documentaries, expeditions. Yet the mine remains hidden, and the guardians ensuring that its location and secrets are never revealed. I've actually been there to hike. I didn't go by myself or anything like that. Yeah. It's kind of spooky, but whatever. I didn't go all the way up in there by myself, but there's been ghost hunters, ghost adventurers, all the people have been there and they've caught stuff on there.
I ever, never really went over there. I mean, it's on that mountain that says Phoenix, right? Is that the mountain also that has Phoenix on it, like Hollywood in California? Or is that
No,
a different? It's in that direction. I think it's
it's in
farther
that
out.
direction. Yeah.
I
It's
think
the
it's
one that has the snow on it. You know where the Gold Mine Museum is?
uh-huh.
Yeah. Apache Junction.
Yes. Yes. So there was a picture on TikTok or YouTube. I don't know. I was somewhere. And it was a picture of this mountain, and the way the sun had come through, it looked like what it could have been a mountain lion. It looked like the shadow of a mountain lion. And people are, talking about how people from around the world have all tried to come
Probably
here.
it.
Yeah, and try to get some. But the thing is like, I wonder if there is gold there. It also depends on the time of day. It's like how the earth is on its axis. The shadow looked amazing. And I said, I wonder if it depends on how the sun is, the degree in the sky, if
That's
they're
cool.
really, but you'd have to be there. Like in movies, you got to be at a certain time in a certain place. It's got to
Right
reflect
time in the right place. Like right there.
where
They're lined up exactly at the right time, there it is, bam.
after all this time, that gold is not important because there's other places in Arizona to find gold.
Exactly.
Plenty of untouched land. If people are dying, leave it alone.
It's a beautiful place, but I would not go by myself. I had no amount of money. It's worth my life. Period. Just admire
We
it.
are all.
And
That's right. We are now on our way to Frank Lloyd Wright at Taliesin West, a masterpiece in the desert.
the way you said we're magical. Frank Lloyd,
In the Sonoran Desert of Scottsdale, Taliesin West is a marvel of design. Built in 1937, it served as Frank Lloyd Wright's winter retreat and architectural laboratory. Wright's philosophy of organic architecture, integrating structures with their natural surroundings, is evident in every detail. Constructed with local materials like desert rocks and sand, Taliesin West feels like a natural extension of Arizona's landscape. Wright believed that architecture should reflect its environment, and Taliesin West stands as a testament to his vision. Today, it's a National Historic Landmark and a hub for architectural tours, workshops, and intriguingly ghostly encounters.
Have you ever been
Right? No.
Either. I mean, I've heard of Frank Lloyd Wright, but I've never been to any of his.
I've been on the road, passed by a few of his homes, but I've never been there. I haven't. Wright's presence at Taliesin West isn't just metaphorical. Over the years, visitors and staff have reported sightings of a tall man dressed in white walking through the garden, studio, and private quarters. He nods politely to those who acknowledge him as if continuing his role as a gracious host. Wright's ghost seems to reflect his larger-than-life personality, one that wouldn't let a little thing like death prevent him from basking in admiration. Some believe his spirit lingers to oversee the preservation of his masterpiece, ensuring that his vision remains intact. Could this be Wright's way of staying connected to the creation he loves so dearly? Or is it his relentless ego that refuses to fade? Wright's influence on architecture is nothing short of extraordinary. With over 1,000 projects to his name, more than half of which are completed, his designs include iconic structures like Falling Water and the Guggenheim Museum. That's a beautiful museum. But Wright wasn't just an architect, he was a perfectionist and a control freak. He designed everything in his homes, from the furniture to the lighting, to ensure his clients couldn't disrupt his vision. In fact, many of his built-in designs were intended to prevent homeowners from rearranging rooms to their liking. Wright's obsession with detail and control extended to his professional relationships. He famously clashed with clients and collaborators who dared to challenge his ideas. Yet his genius was undeniable, and his work continues to inspire architects and designers worldwide. Taliesin West remains a vibrant cultural and educational center. Visitors marvel at his harmonious blend of architecture and desert scenery, gaining insights into Wright's revolutionary ideas. But for some, the experience includes an one tour guide recounted seeing a tall figure in white strolling through the garden late at night. Thinking it was a guest who wandered off, she approached, only to have him vanish before her eyes. Another visitor claimed to hear Wright's voice in the studio, dictating design changes to an invisible audience. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, these stories add air of mystery to Taliesin West, deepening its allure. And see, I never knew that. Look, it is amazing because we have a live missile, right, in Green Valley. We have Lake Havasu, but that's where the London Bridge is falling down. Yes, we have that. We have crater. We are the southernmost place in the world in Tucson to go skiing in the world. We got the only blue for McDonald's. We got the largest White Castle in the world. So it's like things like that I know. But when it comes to this history that's before me being here, it was just Arizona was small. It's still a transient state, but it's amazing. Of course, I heard of Taliesin West, but I've never been, and I do like looking at homes and the architecture, but I've never been on a tour. So, I mean, I'll have to check that out and let you know. I'll have to find out how that all works. And then if we have to do a refresher at the end of the year of going with that, something like that. But that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The mysteries of Casa Grande. Casa Grande is a structure that defies time, built entirely of adobe or mud brick. It's the tallest adobe building in America. At 40 feet wide and 60 feet long, its massive walls are constructed from caliche, a subsoil that, when mixed with water, forms a natural cement. That stuff's no joke. No joke. Even the wooden beams supporting its upper stories were carried from over 50 miles away. This wasn't just a building, it was a statement. The Hohokam poured their lives into this construction, creating a structure that functioned as a home, a fortress, and observatory. Yet, despite their achievements, the Hohokam vanished about 1500 AD. Their villages were abandoned, their lives reduced to whispers in the desert wind. But if you believe the locals, the Hohokam never truly left. Picture this: the desert night alive with the sound of drums and flutes and rising and falling of hypnotic waves. Seashell necklaces catch the firelight as ghostly dancers swirl around an unseen campfire. These are the spirits of the Hohokam, reliving ceremonies thousands of years old. Locals claim that these spectral rituals are most active around key astronomical dates: the solstices, the equinoxes, the two peculiar dates, March 7th and October 7th. Ooh, we got one coming up. Why those? Casa Grande wasn't just a shelter, it was an observatory. Tiny holes in its eastern walls aligned perfectly with other sides. On March 7th and October 7th, not only on those days, the rays of the rising sun pass through these calendar holes. The structure's alignment with heaven suggests the Hohokam believed in celestial guidance, perhaps even celestial warnings. But why did they leave their home so suddenly, leaving behind valuables like turquoise jewelry, beautiful jewelry? Could it be that they were told a catastrophe so great it drove them into the unknown? The legends of black fog and sand-filled deaths. Casa Grande's mysteries don't end with its construction. Over the centuries, chilling legends have grown around this ancient site. A tale warns of a black fog that cloaks the ruins on key dates. Those who dared approach during this time, especially on March 7th, March 21st, June 21st, September 21st, October 7th, or December 21st, may not live to see the sunrise. According to pioneer era legends, the bodies of those who ignored the warnings were found the next morning. Their faces were frozen in grotesque terror, their mouths and throats inexplicably filled with sand. What could cause such an unnatural demise? Could it be the Hohokam themselves guarding their sacred ground from trespassers even in death? Or is this black fog something older, something that predates even the Hohokam? The Hohokam's astronomical genius. The Hohokam weren't just builders, they were astronomers. Casa Grande is often compared to Stonehenge for its role as a celestial calendar. Its precisely placed holes didn't just track the sun. They aligned with the stars and planets in marking solstices, and the equinoxes with breathtaking accuracy. For a society so attuned to the skies, could their sudden disappearance be linked to an astronomical event? A comet, an eclipse, a meteor shower sent them fleeing, leaving behind their possessions in haste. Or perhaps the stars warned them of something worse, an enemy, a plague, or a spiritual reckoning. Whatever the cause, Casa Grande remains a place of cosmic mystery, a testament to people who look to the heavens for answers. Today, visitors to Casa Grande are advised to be cautious. Local legends insist the ghosts of the Hohokam still guard their sacred ground. Witnesses describe hearing phantom drums, catching glimpses of shadowy figures, and feeling an overwhelming sense of dread. Then there is the black fog. Those who see it describe it as suffocating, impenetrable, and utterly unnatural. Was it a warning, a trap, or perhaps the very force that drove the Hohokam to flee centuries ago? Whatever you believe, one thing is for certain. Casa Grande is not a relic of the past. It is alive with echoes of those who built it and the mysteries they left behind. As we wrap up today's journey, I leave you with this question. What drives people to abandon their homes, leaving behind everything they hold dear? Is Casa Grande a place of sacred knowledge or a site of unfulfilled tragedy? The truth lies buried in its ancient walls, waiting for those brave enough or foolish enough to uncover it. But if you ever find yourself near Coolidge, Arizona, or the calendar reads March 7th or October 7th, tread carefully, for on those nights the Hohokam just returned to remind you why they left.
I'm not going anywhere near there.
And this is the thing. I do not like HOAs. I've lived in them. I think they're disgusting. They're ridiculous. And I can understand having a nice home, but you should be responsible for your own shit because, other people have to look at it too. I get that. Greed plays in this. When they started building, we've heard a lot about valley fever popping up because you are touching land that has never been touched before. So you're kicking up spores and whatnot. Not that I'm saying that has to do with anything like this, but the fact of the matter is I get disgusted on how much it's grown. It's stupid, but you are covering up places that should not be touched. There's many
Historical places, yeah.
Yeah, so you get what you get. But I never know. That is absolutely amazing. Amazing.
The Sedona Vortex. Sedona is quite simply a visual masterpiece. Its towering buttes and pinnacles, sculpted by millennia of erosion, rise dramatically from the high desert floor. Locals and visitors alike have given these formations whimsical names like Cathedral Rock, Bell Rock, and Snoopy Rock. With its stunning natural palette of red rock against bright blue skies, Sedona is practically made for the silver screen. In fact, it has been a backdrop for classic films like Broken Arrow and Midnight Run. But for all the visual splendor, Sedona offers more than just postcard perfect views. It's a place where natural beauty intersects with profound sense of mystery. It's definitely interesting. Sedona's mystique is deeply tied to its so-called energy vortexes, places where the Earth's magnetic forces are said to swirl and concentrate. A vortex, as believers describe it, as like a whirlpool in the planet's energy field. It pulls the Earth's interior energies up to the surface, creating a unique electromagnetic environment. Sedona is said to have not just one, but multiple vortexes, each with its own unique qualities. Paige Bryant, a psychic who first identified these vortexes in 1980, described three distinct types of energy. What is that? Emanating, thank you. Emanating from them. Electrical energy, which inspires and energizes. Magnetic energy, which soothes. Thank you.
Welcome.
And electromagnetic energy, a perfect balance of the two. This could explain why Sedona is such a magnet for creative minds. From painters and sculptors to dancers and musicians, many artists claim that Sedona fuels their imagination like no other place on earth. As Sedona has become a hub for New Age practices and alternative medicine, visitors flock to many of its spas and wellness retreats, hoping to harness the healing power of the land. Interestingly, Sedona's reputation as a place of healing dates back centuries. Local Native American tribes, including Hopi, consider Sedona's land sacred. They brought their sick here, believing the land itself had the power to cure. Specific sites around Sedona were used for ceremonies and spiritual rituals, and that it's said that some still resonate with the energy of the ancient practices. But not all is peaceful. When a modern resort was built on sacred ground, local tribes protested, warning a spiritual imbalance. According to legend, the protest included a curse on the resort. The resort has changed ownership multiple times and has struggled to find success. Could this be the work of ancient spirits guarding their sacred lands? I think so. I've heard that before. One of Sedona's most famous residents was the legendary dancer and actress Ann Miller. Known for her dazzling performance in Hollywood, Ann found a deeper connection to life in Sedona. She believed Sedona was a keyhole to the spiritual world, akin to other powerful sites like Stonehenge in England and the Great Pyramid of Egypt. In her 1990 book, Tapping into the Force, she described how living in Sedona enhanced her psychic awareness and spiritual powers. Anne called her Sedona the Red Rock Shangri-La and a Shambhala, a Sanskrit word meaning a meeting place of all beings in peace. It was her sanctuary, a place where her soul was the happiest. Although Anne passed away in Los Angeles in 2004, many believe that her spirit returned to Sedona, forever tied to the land she loved so dearly. Of course, not everyone is convinced that Sedona has mystical properties. Skeptics argue that the concept of energy vortexes is more of a folklore than folklore than fact. But as believers like to point out, many scientific breakthroughs like electricity and radio waves were once dismissed as a superstition. That's true. People thought that stuff was kooky too, but now look at us. Even Albert Einstein suggested the possibility of energies emanating that humans have yet to understand. Could Sedona's vortexes be a part of the unseen world? Question. Visitors often report feeling inexplicably energized and profound calm after visiting a vortex site. Others claim heightened clarity, vivid dreams, and even spiritual visions. Whether these experiences are a result of magnetic forces or the power of suggestion, one thing is clear, Sedona has a way of touching the soul. So Ann Miller believed that everyone has a special place where their souls feel most alive.
Mm-hmm.
For her, that place was Sedona. Is it possible that Sedona could be that place for you? Whether you visit for the breathtaking scenery or artist inspiration or the mystical energy Sedona offers something truly unique. It's a place where the lines between earth and spirit blur. A reminder we're deep connections that bind us to the natural world. So even just driving through there, the energy is calmer for me. And even though there's a lot of people visiting there and stuff, it just seems like it's a calmer place. It's not chaotic energy.
It is pretty when it snows. I've camped there. I've been to Oak Creek. I've been to Talakapaki, which I always like that word. We went to
Talakapaki?
Tilapia. When we were in high school, that was a field trip. You go around taking pictures. So high school was 82 to 86 for me. So back then, that energy then is not the energy now, because popular. It's different. Some people will still feel something, and some people just going to see it like anywhere else. It's just beautiful. It's scenic. But I've never had any sort of. I haven't. The one I enjoyed is I think it's called the Sherpa. It's the Buddhist statue that's out there, but it was peaceful. It was something positive. That was quiet and peaceful. But other than that, when I look at it, the Red Rock and the Snoopy and the bell and all that is beautiful. And then I get pissed off because of that house. That house. Because so many people from around the world for years, decades and decades and decades have sat up there and seen this church, and you look and you take it in, and then you turn around to look outside and you see that freaking house. I mean, I think that's the highest church in that area, but to enjoy and consume what is Sedona, that house kind of wrecked it.
Yeah.
And it just automatic, like, disgust.
That's a shame.
It is. People with
want
money.
to be a-holes, and people with money think they can go wherever they want and ruin a perfectly good landscape. That's annoying, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to move on to the Yuma Territorial Prison. Was established in 1876. Strategically near a sharp bend in the Colorado River. At first glance, it seemed like an ideal spot for a prison. Why, you ask? Because there was virtually no escape. Surrounding the prison was a sweltering desert, stretching for miles in every direction. The land was barren and unforgiving, with temperatures that could soar above 120 degrees. Rashi, do you know what 120 degrees feels like?
We do.
You will die immediately if you don't have water. If a prisoner managed to escape, their chances of survival were slim. Even worse, local Native American tribes were basically, they were enticed to bring back escapees. Some accounts claim that these captives were marched back to the prison and then killed in the sight of the guards, a gruesome deterrent for others contemplating to escape. It's no wonder that this environment bred anger, hatred, and despair. And it's no surprise that the ghosts of the Yuma's prisoners are far from friendly. Inside Yuma Territorial Prison was a nightmare. These inmates were forced to build the very prison that would confine them. They constructed massive adobe walls, some 8 feet thick, and a dungeon block carved out of solid rock. The most infamous part of the prison was the snake den. Hell no. The 15 by 15 foot airless cave was used to punish the most violent offenders. Prisoners were chained to iron rings embedded in the floor in total darkness. Imagine being trapped in that suffocating space with murderers and no way to protect yourself. The main cell block wasn't much better. 34 cells housed 6 men crammed together in constant watch and guard tower armed with a Gatling gun. Riots were met with a hail of bullets, further fueling the atmosphere of brutality. The prison finally closed in 1909. The living inmates were transferred to Florence, Arizona, with the ghost staying behind. Their fury and despair etched into the prison wall. Visitors and staff at the prison museum have reported chilling encounters with the supernatural. The dungeons, especially the creepy snake den, are said to be the most haunted. Tourists often feel sudden and icy cold air even on the hottest days. Some report hearing moans and curses. You know what? If I was a ghost there, I would be cursing too. It's hot outside. There's no air conditioning. I would be cursing too. As though the tormented souls of the prisoners are crying out, others have experienced physical sensations. Male visitors have felt phantom punches to their stomach. And while women report being painfully pinched, leaving behind bruises, is evident. The museum building, which houses artifacts and memorabilia from the prison, another hotspot for paranormal activity. Visitors have been slapped, and some claim to hear obscene whispers in their ear. Staff members even witnessed a cash register mysteriously open on its own and coins tumbling out as being passed to invisible hands. Now, I don't know that you mean punched by invisible people and obscenities in your ear, like, hey, no, I'm not going to get punched by an invisible force and obscenities and no.
Ready for everybody.
Thunder and lightning, I would be fighting the air. I don't know. So,
yeah,
the hauntings at the prison are more than just school stories. They're tied to the history of the place. The prisoners who died here were often violent and unhinged. The spirits were full of hatred and vengeance. The local lore warns visitors not to linger in their dungeons, especially during the last hour of the day. It is said that the spirits become more active as the sun sets, their anger intensifying with the darkness. And one particularly chilling legend involves a tourist who dared to ignore the warnings. Some claim that those who spend too long in the snake den leave without unexplained injuries and experience disturbing dreams for weeks. Yeah, that's a place I'm never going to visit. Even though it's right across the highway from the casino, no. No thank you. Place is there's a graveyard, like a prisoner graveyard. There's a prison you can still visit. I'm good. That's no from me.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So then we're gonna hop on over to Bisbee and we're gonna visit the old Copper Queen. So our first and most famous ghost, the Copper Queen in Bisbee, Arizona, is Julia Lowell, a stunning and charismatic woman who lived and died on Copper Queen. Julia was a high-class prostitute who entertained some of Bisbee's most prominent men, mine executives, doctors, and preachers. Yeah. With her flaming red hair and quick wit, she often joked that she was the true Copper Queen. But beneath the charm, she was a shrewd businesswoman. Julia saved her earnings and invested wisely, securing mine properties and a ranch hand. Hey, man, she's a businesswoman. Good for her. Life was good until she made one fatal mistake. Julia fell in love. Her steady, that's always what happens. You fall in love and it goes to shit. Joking. Her steady gentleman. Sorry, though. Well,
proceed, I'm sorry.
Her steady gentleman was a wealthy polite and seemed to join her company. Julia dreamed of retiring from her profession and became his wife. But when she dared to mention marriage, he rejected her cruelly, laughing in her face. When I marry, he sneered, it will be to a real not.
Right.
What? Heartbroken and humiliated, Julia retreated to her room. There, she dissolved opium-laced tablets into a bottle of whiskey and ended her life in despair. Basically overdose.
Couldn't have been my life, in his life.
Yeah, I would know. That sounds like the Tombstone Lane. Remember the two prostitutes? Remember took the shoe and stabbed her in the heart with the shoe. Remember at the other one? Remember?
Yes.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah. She needs to take
right.
notes from the other whore at the birdcage. Yeah. Anyway, today Julia's ghost remains at the Copper Queen Hotel, forever mourning her dashed dreams. She's often wearing a long black silk dress, her tear-eyed filled affixed with some far-off memory. Guests and staff have reported lights flicker as Julia glides off to the halls. Her presence marks an aura of sorrow. Sometimes she appears at the back of the table in the bar, slightly nursing a glass of whiskey, her spirit absorbed by its own tragedy and pays no mind to the living. Wow. Yeah. The second ghost at the Copper Queen is a stark contrast to Julia's mournful present. This is the distinguished gentleman, a middle-aged man with a middle-aged man with an air of authority and a hint of menace. He's often described as impeccably dressed in a dark pinstripe suit. Detail. Complete with an embroidered vest and a silk tie. Topping off his ensemble is a old-fashioned top hat. But it is not his wardrobe that makes him unforgettable. It's the 44 caliber revolver he carries in his right hand. So a top hat and a gun. I'm intrigued. Do tell more. Okay. The gentleman moves briskly through the hall, his freely frown and his purposeful stride, warning guests to steer clear. He doesn't interact with people. Kind of sounds like me. His presence is intimidating nonetheless. But was he in life? A lawman, you say? A gunslinger? Or perhaps a miner protecting his claim? No one knows for sure. But his stern demeanor suggests that crossing him, ghost or not, would be a bad idea. That's a distinguished gentleman.
Wow.
Now, our third ghost is a breath of fresh air, or if you can call a ghost that. This is a mischievous little boy, a playful spirit who brings a touch of whimsy to the Copper Queen's haunted reputation. He appears as a child about 6 or 7, dressed in 1920s style kickers, a long argyle socks, and a mischievous grin. Guests and staff had described him as transparent, shimmery, painted as he dashes about the hotel, causing delightful chaos. The young ghost loves to move glasses, teacups, hide items, tapping unsuspected adults on the shoulder before darting away. His antics bring smiles once the initial surprise wears off, while the other guests at the Copper Queen seem weighted down by their past. The little boy appears to be enjoying his afterlife. If you're lucky enough to encounter him, you might even feel a sense of joy, as if he's inviting you to join his endless game of hide and seek. No, I think I'm going to pass on that. I'm good.
Hide and seek me some.
Yeah, find me some money. You're going to go hide and seek, hide somewhere in a bank, grab it, come back. Yeah. Anyway, the Copper Queen Hotel isn't just a place to rest your head. It's a portal into Bisbee's storied past. Its ghosts reflect the triumphs and tragedies of the mine town's heyday. Julia Lowe's heartbreak reminds us of the human cost of longing and rejection. The distinguished gentleman embodies the rugged, no-nonsense spirit of the Old West. And the mischievous little boy, he's a reminder that even in the afterlife, innocence and joy can endure. Today, the Copper Queen Hotel embraces its haunted reputation, drawing guests who are eager to experience its elegance, ambience, and perhaps a ghostly encounter in two. I've never been to Bisbee. Of course, I've been to Tombstone, but never Bisbee, which is not that far. You just go through Tombstone to get to Bisbee. But I hear
I've
it's
been
good
there.
for...
That was our first years in Arizona, so that was a mighty long time ago.
Well, that's a haunted Arizona, so from spectral miners to vengeful cacti, haunted hotels and ancient mysteries, Arizona is a place where the past and the paranormal collide, literally. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the unexplained. Don't forget to subscribe, share your ghost stories, and leave a review. Until next time, stay curious and maybe a little cautious out there in the desert night. Woo! See you later.